and welcome to this week's Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blind Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Ronnie, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. We have a special guest this week. We have Mr. Faheem. Would you like to say hello to everyone?
Hey everyone, how you doing? Glad to be here.
Well, I kind of became acquainted with him on LinkedIn, and he has different services that he provides to, I wouldn't say just artists, but as I told him that I wasn't an artist, but that I would like to interview him on the show. So I guess we want to start off with tell him what you do professionally in the industry.
Okay, so pretty much I do digital marketing. Now I'm certified in AI marketing as well. But my passion is the music industry. That's where I started at. But I work with various businesses over years, like realtors, solar consultants, credit repair, business funding, um, like e-com stores and stuff like that. But far as I always found myself coming back to the music because that's where I started. I work with like iconic labels back in the day, like the Death Row and Rough Riders and Raucous Records and stuff like that. And a plethora of other labels that's not even around no more because they keep consolidating. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. But the industry, helping artists is my passion. So
Okay. So how do you feel like AI marketing fits into um, the industry? Because it's so, I guess I would say, a big divide between the use of AI in music. But I see the AI in marketing. But how do you think this would be beneficial for artists, and how could it have some downfalls?
Chat GPT obviously ain't like one of the number ones, but then you have a lot of other what they call them uh, large learning models, LLMs. But basically, all they are is you can put in information and get out information. So content creation, the strategy, and a whole bunch of other stuff is those tools. But now you have the industry is advancing so fast. Now you have specific tools that are coming out for specific things. So now you have like perfect example that's something good for artists. Obviously creating videos and reels and stuff like that's always a good thing. But they have a software called submagic.co. It literally you go to create a video like a little reel or whatever, upload this video, and then it'll basically edit out captions and everything. So it's like it's certain tools out there that artists should definitely be getting on because it's going to help them be more efficient, right? Because obviously putting out content is important, but if you could have something where you like me, I don't want to be dealing with all the video editing. Even though I probably should, but something like Submagic Code and probably some other softwares allow you to do that. Or you have something called Opus Clip, where maybe you have a long form music video or maybe a performance or something like that. You can upload that video. It'll literally chop it up into little clips where you can post it, on your social media and stuff like that. So, in the aspects of downfall, I think it's going to be a lot. It's a software called Sono where literally it can pretty much record like it can pretty much like I'm trying to get it out. It pretty much can imitate an artist. So you can literally say you could put up. You say I like reggae, right? I want a reggae song talking about talking about love or whatever, and it'll literally create the song and it is crazy. So artists have to get up with the technology, and so that way they don't fall behind because eventually what's going to happen is people will just be like, oh, I could just create a song and put it up on Spotify, something like that, right? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But it's a lot that artists can do. They just have to start learning now because right now we're still in the early phases. You don't want to get caught left. You don't want to get left behind with this.
So when you said artists need to get with the times, where people can just go and create something and throw it on Spotify, what barriers do you think record labels would put up to keep that from happening?
Actually, it's crazy because they have a petition out now. A lot of like the major artists, like I know I heard like Nicki Minaj and there's a lot of other artists, but either way, they're signing this petition. Is trying to get these companies, um, trying to either sue these companies or get these companies to put restrictions on their software. So that way, somebody can go in there and say, "I want to create a song like Drake." You know what I'm saying? And the guy sounds like Drake, which people have been doing that already anyway. And then so now they like, "Oh nah, you forget that because that wasn't me right there, right?" So what I'm saying. So now they're already doing that, so they can kind of, I guess, get ahead of it. But eventually, a lot of these companies, if they don't course correct, it's gonna be a lot of lawsuits. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember what artist it was, but they agreed to let people use AI uh, likenesses of them, but
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
they had to pay in order to be able to do that. So even in real life, you may have two artists that sound similar, and the two that I'm gonna say, and I don't know if there's beef there or what, but I think that Jaguar Wright and Mary J. Blige have a similar style, similar facial features, looks,
Right, right,
I would say, whatever. And I think that in its natural state, yes, um, you could probably mistake some of them at times. But I mean, even with I can't even remember what her name is, but the lady that sounds like Sizzle. Naturally, you can find two voices that are similar, and
right,
what makes them stand out is the differences.
right.
So, with AI, do you think that AI will really be a rival for a natural voice that, or even that they could even sue to say this is my likeness? They can like, oh well, it's somebody's likeness, but it's not yours. So how do you think they will be able to even prove that it's their likeness when naturally some voices sound the same? Hence, why you have background singers.
Right, right. Right, like, and actually a good question, and I think honestly, it's gonna get it's not gonna a lot of these artists are not gonna be able to win that because, like you said, because they're gonna be like, well, yeah, that sounds like you, but that's not you, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, you got people that sound like each other, some people who look like each other, so you can't really legislate that, you know what I'm saying, to the point where you can stop it. You could probably say, okay, well, this is my specific likeness. I don't want this, and this because it's not just voice. It's also, you can literally clone yourself. It's a software called HeyGen that, like, you can literally clone yourself, type a prompt in to say it, and then it'll just say it in your voice and everything. It's crazy. Like, this stuff is already here. So as an artist, you need to take note of this stuff because you can, like I said, instead of like, oh, I don't know about this AI stuff, you can say, okay, I can use that because now instead of me, jumping on camera, now I can, get with this software, record a different versions of me, and then I can just basically now I can just start uploading content, right? By
I
just
think that they're doing like I'm not gonna say cheaper versions, but they're doing like lower versions of that because I look at some of the bloggers on YouTube
uh-huh.
that are using the AI images and they can change their hair, they can soften their
Oh
voice,
yeah.
they can change their eyes, all those different things, but it's still their voice. So
Right.
I see what you're saying, but I think that it gives way for people to be more delusional.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's more on the AI avatar side, but this is more like your likeness. Like, you can clone yourself, like, actually, um, because you have to do a specific thing. But it's like they have a simpler version where you can clone yourself, and they have another version where I guess it costs more, but you can actually change your clothes and everything. Like, it'll, like, you can, like, I want to have a suit on, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. It'll just change it, that type of
So
stuff.
it's like the Matrix.
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah, that's what, yeah, exactly what it is. Yep, because I think you, like, record yourself behind a green screen or something like that, and then that allows you to be able to change outfits and all this stuff. And obviously, you got to be standing certain position and you got to say things in a certain way and all that. But is yeah, you can already do that stuff now. I mean, it costs though, because I think doing it that way costs like $1,000 or something like that to create like a custom AI clone. The other one is like a basic AI clone. It's you, but it's like, me having my white hat and t-shirt on. It would just have that, but I can program it to say whatever I wanted to say, and it will say it. Versus me
Okay.
having to actually do it. That's all.
Okay. So, one of the things that you told me that you've been in the industry for a long time. What are your different positions? I know you told me about that you don't work with different people, but as
Mm-hmm.
being in the industry, what have been your different positions or different avenues that you have taken throughout your career?
Um, well, I started out obviously as an intern, but then um, I rose up the ranks and I started doing street promotions, and then that led me to networking and meeting, club promoters and DJs, and eventually, breaking records, taking the records to the clubs, and then the radio station. So I got into the whole radio thing where I was able to, in DC you have two main stations, WPGC and WKYS, that play kind of more on the hip hop and R&B stuff. So I was able to do that, and then from there, I got into working with bigger brands. Because some of the clients that I was working with, they were just like, "Hey, Faheem, we just got BET as a client, and we want you to do X, Y, Z." And like one thing was I did like a BET college tour. This is back in 2000, I think 3 or 4, something like that.
I've been the one that came to my historically black university.
Yeah, what was the university? Because I probably was there. If it was back then, not that I was probably there. Because yeah, it was
It
like,
was,
oh, yep, it's all the black colleges. Yep,
yeah,
yep,
it was
definitely.
the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
Was it? Did we hold it? Did we go to Arkansas? I don't know. We went to. I know we was in Texas.
UAPB.
Yeah, I know we was in Texas for sure. We was in Texas, Louisiana.
I remember because
Uh,
I think Coca Cola was a sponsor.
yeah, it could have been. I don't know. Maybe we did go. I don't know. Like this is it's like 20 some years. That's
Yeah,
like
because
20 years
I
ago.
enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself because they would let people come out the crowd who had talent to come up and sing or rap and
Yep, yep. And
different
they had
things
a
like that. They
DJ.
would had
Yeah.
T-shirts and different stuff. It was a good experience. My college experience.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So it could have been. I mean, I don't. I mean, it was a lot of colleges. I don't. So it could
It
have
was a
been because yeah,
tour.
yeah, it was a tour. So that way, because I know BT, and it was at Colgate. I believe Coca Cola was one of the sponsors.
I
And it was
still
like,
have my
oh,
T-shirt. It's
oh
an
wow,
old
okay,
T-shirt. Yes, I still have. That's how I know Coca Cola was a sponsor because on the back here it had the Coca Cola.
yeah, I believe they were because it was Col. I know Colgate was one of them. That was one of the major. I think Coca Cola was one. Obviously BT, and it was some other smaller ones as well too. It was a bunch of smaller ones as well. So
And
okay,
one thing I will say about Coca Cola during that time, they were the sponsors to a lot of black events. I would say during that time because even
right,
if you would look back to some of their commercials, they had the early Tyrese, the early Jaguar Wright. So
right.
they, to me, I feel like was not given credit for it, but I feel like that Coca Cola is a part of black culture.
Yeah, you right about that. Yep, it was really like back then. Yeah, you ain't lying. Yep, Coca Cola was definitely in there. So as far as the hip hop and the yeah, definitely music and stuff like that, they were
When it
really big
started
on.
blowing up, it was like they were one of the majors that was there to stand behind it.
Yep, definitely. Yep. So yeah, so more yeah, so yeah, definitely. I'm almost certain they were. I just don't remember. It was a bunch of there was a bunch of sponsors. That's for sure. But yeah, that was so I did that. Then I started from there. I started working with Pepsi. And what's that? Pepsi, like doing like Sierra Mist. Then I was doing some stuff. I linked up with the guy. He was like a Nike rep. I did a lot of stuff with clothing, like a lot of those clothing brands back in the day, like Echo and Moschino and all them clothes. You know, remember back then? Yeah, all those
A lot
Davucci.
of them that's in city trend now.
Yeah.
They're not they're
Davucci.
not going away. They just moved to another
Right. Yeah. So I
home.
was doing, yep. I was doing a lot of that stuff. And then around 2005, I got into actually managing artists. So it was my first artist was this female rapper, and and then from there, managed her for like maybe I think 5 years or something like that. And then from there, I started managing some other. I started managing an artist from North Carolina. Then I managed an artist from DC. Then managing an artist from Chicago, and then Philly. I was managing artists all over the place. And at that time, so I still had some relationships. I was able to get them on radio and get them, kind of get them above the fold, like versus like the other artists in their city and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. And then I would say around 2014, I got more into the digital marketing side of the things because I seen kind of where everything was going online, right? Um,
Hmm.
so I was like, I got into learning, bought my first marketing course, and then it just went from there. And then I started learning how to run ads, and it just kind of went from there. So that's all. Yep.
With AI intelligence and people using technology, how can artists combat cyberbullying? And and I think that some of them lie, but like people hack their accounts and get in and make uh tweets or make posts or whatever. So how do you think that cyberbullying fits into this?
Um, Cyberbullying, I don't know because I done had one of my accounts hacked. Hacking is just a part of the online world. You're not getting around that. And AI obviously is gonna probably make it worse before it gets better. Because you could clone your voice, you can do all these other things now. But I would say, artists just need to build their own communities, right? It's
Hmm.
not enough anymore just to have followers and stuff like that, especially if you're an independent artist, because I tell artists all the time, followers don't really turn into fans unless you give them a way to become a fan, right?
Yeah, you
And the
have
only
to
way
give
you
them
give
something.
them a way to become a fan is you got to get them off of social media. You know what I'm saying? Into a community. So that means name, email address, phone numbers. Where they're from. You know what I'm saying? You can get all that stuff on the back end once you got that, and then you can kind of direct them where you want. But the whole point is to get turn follower streams and views into names, email addresses, and phone numbers, because that's where the real money's is made. You know what I'm saying? Versus like sending somebody to get a view and you getting a fraction of a penny, or a stream a fraction of a penny, right? Versus actual dollars. Because a lot of artists don't understand that people, they want to support artists, and people do support artists, right? If they find somebody they really like, and they can have their infrastructure set up the right way, these people will spend like hundreds of dollars on them, even some of them even more than that. You know what I'm saying? This is
But
happening
I
right
but I
now.
I asked this question because I had an artist to contact me.
Okay.
And the reason why they contacted me, I was kind of like flabbergasted about it, was because there was an AI blogger that had some kind of way, I don't know how, been getting uh, some artists that are content creators channel struck or deleted. And I guess he was trying to do like an investigation. And in that way, where artists are dependent, as you was talking about with social media, dependent on social media to get a lot of their work done,
Right.
how could they protect themselves against people like AI bloggers that are, I guess, baby, like with the Matrix, sitting the sentinels after them?
Right. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, it's really not, because you don't. The thing is, you don't own your followers. The social media platforms do. So you're really at the mercy, whether a hacker do it, or they just say for some reason they don't like what you post that particular time, and the guy, I'm gonna ban your account or whatever. It's unfortunate. That's just really not really so much anything you could do. So my thing is always like, yeah, build your followers up, but try to at least have a point where they can you could transition at least a portion of them into your own community where you own that.
That's
So
why a lot of people are putting just exclusive content on their website. And you try to stress to some artists, because I've worked with independent artists in a management capacity, and I
okay,
mean not on even, I mean on the level of no infrastructure is in place at all. And some of the things you try to explain, such as you needed to have a website, you needed to have a social media presence, you also need to be able to network here, you also have to put in footwork here. A lot of artists, to me, don't cross to be that professional threshold because they don't have the infrastructure in order. Now, not saying that there's anything wrong as a beginning artist, but I think that once you have been, I would say, an artist even for 2 years, you should have been and learned some part of the business
right,
aspect of it.
I agree. I
So,
agree.
on that aspect of artists needing to put an infrastructure in place, how hard have you found it for independent artists to to get it across to them? This has to be done. This is
Oh
important.
my
You
goodness.
cannot make money if this part right here is not done. Because I
Yeah.
have had artists to tell me that just because they have distribution, that they think that they have done everything
Oh my
to,
goodness.
and it's like you cannot tell them. And like I had one artist, because I registered for the charts internationally too. And I was like, I registered the song, it has to be this many days, blah, blah, blah.
Right, right.
And he went right onto social media and say, "Hey, I'm charting on the charts in the UK." No, you're not.
Oh
So
man. Okay.
so when you talk about the infrastructure, I want you to explain how important it is to independent artists that they must have this, because the music industry is cutthroat and they will eat your ass up if they know that you are green.
Yep, yep. Well, the thing is, and I don't really care about. For me, I don't really care about streams and stuff like that. Yeah, you can make some money from that, but I'm more about the getting the people, like the actual listener, getting that person, so you know who that
Building the
person is.
real fan base.
Right, right. Because yeah, you may have 15,000 active listeners, but you don't have 15,000 fans. You know what I'm saying? You have
Right.
people
It's
who
only
just
going to
like,
be a third.
yeah, yeah. So at the end of the day, having an infrastructure in place allows you to at least get a portion of those people over into your community, so that you can start really building that relationship with them. But it's very important because a lot of artists, like honestly, 99.9% of artists just don't do it. Independent artists anyway, and the 1% that does do it, they're making literally 6 and 7 figures a year, right? Because it's a blue ocean, because it's no competition. Everybody's over on this side trying to get a record deal, trying to get on the radio, trying to get on the next whatever this show they got, the next
Taking
whatever.
shortcuts.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whatever this scam, which is basically a scam by Rolling Stone, because you gotta pay yeah, whatever. But my thing is, they're looking for stuff like that. So I call that like the hope strategy, right? You can either have a real strategy or you can have the hope strategy. The hope strategy is what 99.9% of artists are doing, because they're not thinking as a business. And I tell artists all the time, you're a business. You're not just an artist. You know what I'm saying? But if you just think you're an artist, then you know what I'm saying, people are going to take advantage of you on the business side. But if you come at it from a business standpoint, then you're going to see that, okay, I got to make moves, what I'm saying, more deliberate versus me just like all over the place and stuff like that. So my thing is telling artists, you have to have these things set up. You need a paid community. You need a community where you can basically control. You need to have a CRM or what they call customer relationship management system, where you can actually nurture people, have people come in. You need to have a landing page. It's a landing page is different from a website. Website is kind of everything is on there. A landing page is more focused, where you're going to give them something for free to get their information, and then from there you can, on the next page, you can actually literally start selling to them right then and there. Like the next page, okay, great, thank you for your whatever free thing is on the way to your inbox. But by the way, I got this album, what I'm saying, never released before. I'm selling. I got this music bundle, boom, 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 and now you can convert some of those people to actual sales right away. And then on the back end, then other people who didn't buy, that's the whole goal, is to nurture them into you. You know what I'm saying, you can sell them some stuff, and then you can send them all over the place. You can send them to your new video. You can send them over here. You can send them to your website. You know what I'm saying. But my thing, get them first, and then you can control the path that you want them to take. So, yep. So basically, one is your paid community. Two, that's having your merch store. You know what I'm saying, and three, pretty much what is it? Merch store, paid community, and your funnel. You're basically your funnel, so that way you can basically sell to people directly. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And build your community up that way. Yep.
All right. Well, I thank you for coming, and I want you to tell everyone why they should come to you for your services and how they can get in contact with you.
Okay. Yes. Well, first of all, if you come to me, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna actually start making money within the next 90 days. That's the first step. Okay. I'm not about the streams and all that stuff. I'm about basically building infrastructures and getting the right type of people who is willing to give you money. So that's why you need to come to me. I'm not all the other stuff. They can stay over there. But you can get in contact with me by emailing me at strikefirstmarketing@gmail.com. Pretty much spelled just like you see the name, strikefirstmarketing@gmail.com. And you email me, then we can go ahead and set up a Zoom call and go from there.
Yeah, I put it on the bottom of the screen when it's air.
Okay, got you.
All right. Well, I thank you for coming. You can catch us on podcasts on all podcasting platforms. You can catch us streaming live on social media, and you can catch us on the website. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate it. Okay.
Oh, I appreciate you. To me, it was a very good interview.
Thank you. I mean, this is probably my second interview in a minute, so I was a little nervous. So, but yeah, but the information is valid. Yeah, information is valid.
Yeah, it was good information because I learned something. And no, of course, I'm beyond intelligence, and I don't know everything, and it's always something to learn, and I like to learn. So you brought some things to my attention that I had not heard of. So I feel like that it was a great interview, and somebody else who was watching will learn something new too.
Definitely. Okay. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, girl, let me tell you about this podcast.
Girl, everybody has a podcast these days.
But this one interviews new and interesting indie artists. It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blunt Intelligence.
Really? Where can I find it?
It's on all podcasting platforms, streams live on social media, and on rpentradio.com.
What'd you say it was called again?
It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blunt Intelligence.
Girl, I'm gonna have to check her out.
Give it a check, girl.